Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. My name is Ted Martinez. This is All Inclusive. Today, I'm going to take it to another level on the topic of police brutality. On episode 3, I spoke about the no snitch culture or the code of silence, what officers can do to help each other deal with difficult situations instead of exacerbating them, which is to intervene with their fellow brother in blue when they're going too far. But this time, I'm going to talk about a topic that not maybe, but will eliminate situations from getting to the point of police brutality. There is one thing almost every one of these cases I've seen has in common: resisting. A person resisting is a blatant hazard for the cop that I feel has been successfully swept under the rug, diminishing a cop's confidence in using force when actually needed. As a prime example of the almost unfathomable to the left situations that cops find themselves in when someone is resisting. I'd like to play this short clip for you folks, which will reveal what happens when resisting is not met with more force. This happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Officer Zarkeshan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, and Sergeant Craig Johnson were shot during a traffic stop after suspect David Ware recklessly pulled out onto the road, oblivious to cutting off the officer who had the green light. David Ware had no driver's license, no insurance, paper tags expired, and a history of drug paraphernalia. Over 40 times they gave him commands to get out of the vehicle, to which he refused. For over 7 minutes, they tried getting him out, tased him, maced David to no avail. They tried to forcefully pull him out, to which, unbeknownst to the officers, he quickly and stealthily pulls out a gun from under his seat and shoots at the officers, critically wounding Officer Aurash and killing Sergeant Johnson. I will cut the video before it gets really graphic and leave a link to the full video in the description down below. Let's get it.
Reason why I stopped you is because turned out right in front of me as I'm coming. And on top of that, you have an expired tag. Yeah.
My tag's not expired. I just haven't got it tagged yet. I just bought the car.
Your paper tag's expired, man.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right now. So what I need you to do is step out of the vehicle.
What?
Step out of the car.
I am not. You better call your supervisor or something. Y'all are breaking.
I'm right here. I'm the sergeant. He's asking you to step out of the car.
I'm not stepping out of my car. Why are y'all doing this?
Because you're refusing to follow a lawful order. I need you to step out of the car.
It's not a lawful order.
I'm going to hit him. Are you ready?
Ready.
Just fucking
get out of the car!
down.
Get out of the damn car! Now, or I will spray you!
Fucking ground.
On the ground!
On the ground. Help!
Left arm.
Help!
I got this arm.
Man, help! 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 Help!
Rest in peace to Sergeant Craig Johnson. An officer's life can quickly be in a criminal's hands if not enough force is used fast enough. This was a prime example of how deceitful and how quickly a person can harm or kill an officer while resisting. An officer is not a mind reader and can't possibly know what suspects have on them simply by looking at them. Let's think about the reason for resisting now. In David Ware's case, he knew very well he was in trouble as soon as he pulled that reckless turn in front of the officer, yet still decided not only to resist, but to pull out the gun from under his seat, and unfortunately succeeded in critically wounding the officer and killing the sergeant. Where are the protests for the good cops, our fallen heroes? There is no justification for a cop going overboard. However, in balancing the scales of justice, we must look at it from the cop's perspective as well, especially when we see the tragedies that can happen to a cop in a second. Too many folks out there have a one-sided narrative and won't tolerate even acknowledging the fact that the precursor to an officer using force in the first place is resisting. Notice I say force, not excessive force. There's a clear distinction. This is where the protests are inadvertently creating more incidents where people resist, and criminals take full advantage of this. But as soon as the term resisting comes up, this triggers the left to say that even bringing it up somehow is trying to justify excessive force. Continuing the point of disregarding and justifying resisting arrest by bringing up police brutality makes no sense. I believe we need to educate ourselves on what resisting should even look like, and it's definitely not physical. Protesters should also put up these do not resist signs as well to make a full encompassing message that includes their civilian brothers and sisters. Resisting comes first almost all the time. This lack of acknowledgement pushes us further into opposite ends of the spectrum and disagreement, and enables opportunistic criminals to take advantage. Force is an essential demand of an officer to secure himself or herself on the streets. After all, they are enforcers of the law and ought to be respected as such. However, there is one problem I know happens more often than it should, and I must add it into this video to be fair. That is unlawful or wrongful arrests. Some cops will use intimidation tactics and sometimes even lie in order to detain you. This is blatant corruption and abuse of power. I believe that these cops in particular, no matter how few there are, and there are very few in comparison to the rest who are heroes, should be indicted under the full extent of the law for violating the oath they swore by. This is true that a few cops are bad, and I won't sit here, twist the narrative, or provide a blatant lie to you folks. The purpose in creating this channel is to help create unity. All inclusive, baby. So revealing the truth that may not be convenient to one side, usually the left, but absolutely necessary to end this divide. Anyways, guys, what is an abusive officer's worst nightmare? Someone who knows the law. As citizens of this country, we have to start taking the knowledge of our rights seriously. What is an unlawful or wrongful arrest? What can we do about it? What kind of resisting is safe? And what can we possibly do if we go through the motions the right way? You can look this up for yourselves too. According to lawfirms.com, an arrest is deemed wrongful when a person is detained and wrongfully convicted by police without proper legal authority. Skip over to the examples of wrongful arrests. Wrongful arrest also includes arrest of the wrong person, arrest of a person without probable cause that that person committed a crime, arrest without the mention of the suspect's Miranda rights, arrest without just cause, arrest with an arrest warrant that was obtained with false information given to the court by a police officer, arrest by incompetence, arrest for personal gain, arrest based on race, arrest based on pure malice. Now skip over to, can I resist arrest if I feel it is wrongful? Anyone that is being arrested by a police officer who feels it is wrongful can resist arrest. The person being wrongfully arrested can tell, key word here, tell the officer that it is wrongful. Once that statement is made, the officer has to demand that the person present evidence that the arrest is wrongful. If evidence presented proves that the arrest is wrongful, then the officer cannot lawfully arrest the person any longer. If no evidence is presented, then the person being arrested must cooperate with police entirely. The resistance of arrest cannot be violent or harmful to the officer in any way. It goes on to talk about our 4th and 14th Amendment rights, protecting us from this abuse of power, because that's what it is. It then has a list of some of the things that can be sued for, but remember, only if you are confident that what the officer is saying is total BS and you are able to verbalize or prove how you are not committing any crime. Finally, they share a list of what you can possibly sue for: lost wages, damage to reputation, embarrassment, physical harm incurred during or as a result of the wrongful arrest, etc., etc. You can read it for yourselves too, folks. I'll make sure to provide a link in the description box down below. Knowing where we stand legally when coming to an encounter with any cop will provide us with the confidence needed to verbalize where we stand with the officer in question. I'll finish this off with these thoughts. Try to never physically resist. It projects an immediate danger to the police officer and then in turn to you, especially if you are in the wrong. Now, if you know you have done nothing wrong, don't just say that. Ask the officer to be specific on what exactly you did wrong. Defend yourself with non-threatening words. State that it is wrongful or unlawful, an unlawful arrest, and why. The best course of action is to verbalize your knowledge through the power of our First Amendment rights. Verbal resistance, but not physical resistance. That's it for this segment. I hope it finds you all to be helpful and unifying. If you like this content, please give it a like and subscribe. If you truly find it as important as I do, please share. God bless you all, and God bless America.